On this episode of ResiWeek, CEDIA Expo's lighting preview, creating the human-centric home, and Ring's new gate access. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek, episode 287, Life-Changing Magic.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by Access Networks and by
Atlona, the go-to provider for AV signal distribution and control in corporate, higher education, and residential spaces.
Welcome to this episode of ResiWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matt D. Scott for AVNation.tv, and this week I'm pleased to be joined by some of my best friends. First, we have Mr. Taft Strickland. He is the dude at Just Add Power. How you doing, Taft?
I'm excellent.
Excellent. I like it. Then we have Bob Archer. He is the senior editor at CE Pro. How you doing, Bob?
Fantastic. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you for joining us. And last but certainly not least, my newest friend, Mr. Brandon White. He is the director of product development at Vanco. How are you, Brandon?
Doing great, thank you.
Thank you all for joining us. Let's kick this off with a little preview to CEDIA Expo 2021. This is their lighting preview coming to us from Residential Systems in September on the 1st through the 3rd in Indiana at the Convention Center in Indianapolis. Obviously, it's Expo. If you haven't registered yet with the code AVNation, you can get free floor access, so you can go do that. But let's kick this off. A couple of companies that are new to Expo from the lighting side are DMF Lighting, Environmental Lights, Garden Lighting, and POE WIT Technologies, as well as returning will be Colorbeam, Coastal Source, Lutron, Vantage. I think you could throw Crestron in there as well because they're coming back and they've got some lighting too. Gentlemen, this is a bigger slate of lighting companies than I think we've ever seen before. Taft, does this show that, especially because we've got more fixture companies, not necessarily just control, like Oro's in there as well, there are some honest to goodness actual fixture companies. Does this show that the market is expanding into actual fixtures as a large scale endeavor?
Yeah, and I think if you look, like I have a Lutron system in my house, and it's life-changing and it's magic. Every time I hit that button and all the lights go off in my basement that my kids left on, and I don't have to go down and traipse out to all the rooms, it's magic, right? But we've seen the cost of lighting control come way down. We've seen it capture more and more and more with consumers. And this is just normal. It's a normal kind of, building the category. So an integrator used to sell a $25,000 lighting control system that they made X amount of percentage on. Now they're selling a $12,000 or $13,000 lighting control system. And what else can we do in that realm of lighting? So let's get you some amazing outdoor lights. Let's figure out this and this and this. So I think it's really kind of a natural move for integrators to go from selling lighting control, keeping that dollar amount similar, but by providing more, by providing fixtures. And there are some cool fixtures on the market. And so it just, stuff you're not going to find at your, big orange or big blue store. And then the way people build and the way people live outdoors and things like that, they're really expecting things to last. So it's great not only to see fixture companies get involved, but also high quality fixture companies. And you've seen some of the lighting control companies acquire fixture companies as well. So I think it's a natural move, and I think it's great. And lighting control is one of my most favorite things.
Me too.
Just dimming a bulb, you're just like, oh, it's magic. It just can change everything. The way the paint color looks, how the room feels, the mood, how good your wine tastes. No, not really, but okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, if the experience is better, the wine tastes better, right?
Yeah, and what else can you mix with Barry White? You know, dimming lights and Barry White.
No,
Yeah,
no comment. Nope, that gets me into trouble. No trouble.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Bob, is there a push to, we're seeing, as Taff alluded to, and as we mentioned, obviously some fixture manufacturers, but these are mostly industry-specific manufacturers, right? You're not seeing some of the big retail manufacturers in this list. It's mostly industry-specific. Is that a benefit? Is that a hindrance? Does that come into play at all as integrators are looking at getting into the fixture game?
For right now, I think it could be viewed as a benefit, but I think like most other things within our market, at some point when the bigger companies notice what's going on within the custom install industry, they're going to investigate it, and they're going to find out whether it's right for them to enter the market. It's no different than TV companies or some of the other, the Googles and other types of companies like that. So for right now, it's fine as everybody gets comfortable with it and dealers get confident selling it. I think it's a progression. At some point, the bigger companies will come in and the dealers will be totally fine with presenting those options and speaking to those companies. So, it's perfect right now. The way things are progressing, it's growing at a rate that I think our industry is comfortable with.
Okay, very good. Brandon, one of the things that this brings into play is integrators are always usually needing to partner with different companies for a variety of things, right? As far as trades. Once you get into the fixture game, unless you're dealing with a low voltage manufacturer, and there are a couple are listed here, outdoor specifically is almost always low voltage. So you can jump in that. You don't necessarily need a licensed electrician to do that. But when you get into mainstream fixtures, you have to have a good partner in that. Is this one of those evolving industries that's going to force integration firms to really develop a good relationship with some of those trade partners?
No, absolutely. I definitely see that because of just in terms of how installers can really add to their portfolio. I remember installing way back in the day, and essentially we didn't really say can't. We could go as far down the rabbit hole as you want to go. It's just a matter of being able to do it. And adding more things like this to your portfolio always helps as an installer. And adding those type of partnerships that help you and you help them as well, certainly, doesn't hurt. I think this is really what will help grow and really has shown in other markets as well and outside of lighting, in terms of what integrators and installers can do to help benefit themselves, we've seen it with networking, we've seen it with, lighting, security, lots of different aspects and avenues. So this is just kind of like the next thing that we could certainly be. And it's really been happening for several years at this point, certainly. Mm-hmm. And it's great to see this grow and the amount that it has grown in a relatively short period of time. So I definitely think that those types of relationships, those partnerships, will certainly help benefit installers in terms of expanding their portfolio to continue more with different types of jobs, which also leads to other avenues and markets. So.
Hey, thanks for watching the first segment of this week's episode. To catch the entire show, please click the link below or visit avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.